Hey, welcome to my review for Manos, The Hands of Fate, part of my amazingly stupid movie series. Movies I find so stupid, they're amazing. And this is quite one to start out this one. So Manos, The Hands of Fate was made in 1966, and apparently it was a fertilizer salesman was in a bet with a screenwriter on how he couldn't make a Hollywood movie or couldn't make a movie that was popular. And so this ended up happening. This movie has it all. From terrible acting, terrible dubbing, music that just makes you laugh out loud uncontrollably. And just, so much with this movie. And it's only an hour long. First off, the music. This movie lets you know right away that the music is nothing to, it's not a mention, it's not something you remember. But, yeah, music's crazy. Next is just the dubbing. The dubbing is just amazing in this movie. This movie, there's moments where there's no editing. I don't think this movie was edited. They just took every scene in the movie, they planned it out, and just shot them in chronological order, and just didn't trim off the parts where they said action or cut. They didn't do any of that. So there are moments where you'll see the director, who's the husband in this movie, where he is legitimately mouthing the word cut, but they cut out the audio, so you just see that. And then there's also parts where the actors legitimately look into the lens, trying to go, is the camera still on? Yeah, okay. Legitimately, this movie has it all. So the story of this movie is a family who gets lost, and they end up getting lost and trying to ask for directions, where this guy named Torgo, just wait, he invites them, or not invites them, he lets them stay, but he is the Igor, or the gatekeeper of this cult, where this person named Manos, which is hands in Spanish. So it's hands, the hands of fate. Weird. Where his sleeping brides, and this movie's just crazy. And it's not crazy like The Lighthouse crazy, or any A24 horror movie crazy. It's just crazy. It's not whoa, it's not like that. It's wow, oh my god. With this series, I actually have notes I've written, because this is just insane. So yeah, the fact that there's just no editing, and what I heard is, in the production of this movie, they legitimately said, "Oh, don't worry, we'll fix it in post." But unfortunately, there's only so much you can do in post. There's only so much. So this. Oh boy. So they pass by this kissing couple who are just on the side of the road in their car, and they're just making out. And they're there in the daytime, And then later on in the movie, they're then there at night. So you're like, so have they been making out just nonstop for hours? And it just makes no sense. When they get to this place, there's this man named Torgo. And apparently, to sources of the production, he was on LSD. And I didn't know that before watching this. So after I watched it, I then rewound his scenes and was like, that makes so much more sense now. Especially his walk, complete with amazing music.
I'll get the luggage.
Torgo, we'll stay tonight, and then tomorrow...
You cannot stay. The master would not approve.
Oh yeah, that's another thing too, is that this movie has just long takes. Just like long takes where no one is saying words and they're just staring at each other for minutes. And there's just music playing, and it's just weird. Another thing too is that when they get into this place, they find this painting of Manos and his dog.
Look at this.
Mike,
and they keep cutting back and forth between it, and it's just like, okay, they cut to the painting. Okay, cut back to the painting. And they're just doing that for a while, and it starts out being funny, and then halfway through it then goes, okay, this is still kind of funny because you keep doing it. And then it gets to the point where it's like, wow, you guys are still doing this? And then your smile just starts to fade. Because you're like, oh my god, they're still doing this. So there's that. So I think they were thinking that is creepy. But it's not. It's just like weird. Because it's like, why you keep staring at this thing? You've been staring at this thing for like 20 minutes. And just everything about this movie is just amazing. And another thing too is that, so apparently Manos, it's this cult where Manos is the leader, but he's sleeping on a slab for the first half of the movie, and then once he wakes up, he's then just legitimately just like has his arms out like this for like the rest of the movie. And this is just hilarious. I mean, it's just like it cuts away and he's like this, and then it cuts to a different scene, and then when it cuts back, he's still going like this. So it's like, you've been going like this for like 3 minutes, and you're not stopping. The sound effects sound like they were done by a person, especially one scene where the husband is trying to start up his car. It legitimately sounded like with your mouth. So there is that to look forward to. And then they have a dog, and then the dog ends up dying by something in the woods, and then it's not good. This is not a good movie. I do appreciate them, being like in the 60s, them going like, you know what? I just write a story and we'll do it. Just let's do it. Let's just make a movie. With like The Room, like Tommy Wiseau, you can kind of respect him for like at least going out there and trying, and trying to legitimately make a movie. But there is one thing about looking at a bad movie and just pointing at it going, you're terrible, I'm just going to continue to laugh at you. But to me, me wanting to be a filmmaker and me looking into writing, I tend to be inspired by bad movies, because then you learn like what not to do. So there's countless times during this movie it's like, okay, so don't have like don't have this, don't have an actor who's on drugs, don't have all this stuff. Okay, that's good to know. That's what I always think of. But then halfway through the movie, it just gets crazier when Manos and his wife's awake. And then it just becomes a full-on debate on, should the child live or should the child die? And it just keeps going back and forth, and then it's just comical.
Arise, my wives. Give ear to the words of Manos. Arise, my wives, and hear the will of Manos.
The child to live, she will grow up to be a woman, and as the oldest of the wives, I demand that she live. The child to live, she will grow up to be a woman, and as the oldest of the wives, I demand that she live.
Then they get into and I timed it, a minute and 5-second fight between the wives. And the way it is done, it is so clearly not a fight. It's like when you were in elementary school and you kind of you got in a fight, but you and the other person didn't know how to fight, so you started kind of rolling around and kind of like slapping your guys' hands and stuff like that. It's on that level. And I think the only thing that would have made that scene that much better is if Benny Hill was playing over it. So during this time, Torgo ends up falling in love with the main wife, and the way he does it just completely broke me of laughter, because it was so stereotypical, but the fact that he was on drugs at the same time just makes it that much funnier. And then he knocks out the husband in a great stunt. Whee! A minute and 38 seconds long of Torgo tying up the husband. I sped it up. This is sped up footage. It was so long that I was like going, come on, let's get going here. Come on. We got to get going. And oh my God, this movie's amazing. And so while the wives are battling and, Torgo, all that stuff, Torgo keeps complaining, saying like, "Oh, the one that came in, it's her. She's mine." And the man is like, "No, like I have like 6 brides here," and then some of the brides are like, "No, you have too many." So it just becomes like this, just like stupid debate. It's stupid. Oh yeah, and then you also have to have them getting slapped, and then it looks like they're like dead, and then there's like one part where Manos slaps one of the wives and has like blood on his hands, so when he smacks her in the face, she has blood, so it honestly looks like they're being killed from being slapped. And it's like, wow, this is just incredible. And then it was two scenes in this movie that just utterly broke me. Oh, no, I'm sorry, three. It was Torgo walking. It was Torgo being a creep. And finally, right before this is towards the end of the movie, they're about to leave. The husband then shoots his gun, and it's like in the door frame. You can see the door frame and everything, like the wall and stuff like that. Shoots at nothing. Then it cuts, and Manos is standing in front of the door, just like looking at them, and he's out of focus, and it's like, that made no sense. So it honestly reminded me of like when you're playing a shooter game like online, and you're lagging, and you're just watching a character model just like stand in one location, and then they just go vroom, and they just appear in another one, and then they kill you. It reminded me of that, and I just was laughing so hard because of that. So this movie was made in the 60s, but then got buried until Mystery Science Theater 3000 kind of brought it back in the 90s. Now people are talking about it today. I recommend this movie. I really do. This was just amazing. So when it comes to bad movies, the worst thing that they can be is boring, or if it's a comedy, not funny. But there's a certain thing on movies being bad where I'm going like, that just didn't work, but I still applaud you for going and trying to do something. And this shows that, anybody can make a movie. Whether it be, you can use like an actual camera like what I'm using. You can use, when it comes to audio, you can use a microphone like what I'm using. Or even if you can't get a hold of those, you legitimately have a camera in your pocket. So there's kind of no excuse to kind of push off like why aren't you doing this? So yeah, but overall this movie is just amazing to watch. It's an hour long, but a lot of it is padding, and a lot of it is just long takes that they should have cut. Like, what I've always thought, like, what I wanted to do is take this movie and then actually edit it into kind of what would be kind of like a little sped up version, like a better paced movie, or like sound effects that are better. But then I'm just going, no, because then there's a unique charm that you're going to take away if you do that. So this movie, it's considered to be one of the worst movies ever made, and it certainly is. But I really, this words can't describe, even me having notes. You just have to see this for yourself. You really have to see this for yourself. So that is my amazingly stupid movie review for Manos, the Hands of Fate, or Hands, the Hands of Fate. So thank you very much for watching. I want to do more of these, especially since I've seen like Samurai Cop and The Velocipaster. I've seen those movies, so I want to talk about them, but want to do it like this way, where I go in depth into it, not do like a 6-minute or 7-minute long review for it, like do like a long review for it. So thank you very much for watching. Let me know what other entertainment stuff you want to check out. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.